we hope to build a home. We'll need resources and savvy planning. Soon we'll attract settlers, craftsmen, fortune seekers. It's not much yet, but with your help, we can erect the greatest city Rayclast has ever seen. Our ships will be heavy with gold. Rayclast is a cursed land. You'd have to be mad to settle here. And yet, welcome to King's March! It's not much yet, but with your help, we can erect the greatest city Rayclast has ever seen. Our ships will be heavy with gold. Rayclast is a cursed land. You'd have to be mad to settle here. And yet, welcome to King's March!
Hey guys, Dante here, back with another little video, and in this one I'll be showcasing you guys the build that I'm currently playing, which is a pretty off meta, I would say, build. I haven't seen a lot of people playing it. I've seen a few builds on PoE Ninja using the new Legacy of the Rose staff. This was added this league, and it can roll, basically it can roll Shaper's abilities, the Shaper Slam, Balls, and Beam, right? The one that I'm currently using is Shaper's Devastation, which is the Slam, right? So how does this staff work? You gain 1 remembrance when you spend a total 200 energy shield, right? It gives you Eldritch Battery to help you convert already your resource spending from mana to energy shield. So you get 1 remembrance for every 200 energy, right? So you spend to win, you spend energy shield, and then you get remembrance, this thing over here, right? And whenever you reach 10 stacks, you can activate this ability, Shaper's Memory. When you press it, you spawn Shaper, and bam, big ass damage. As you can see, it does have quite a lot of flat. Now, we are using a few mechanics here, which are quite fun. And yeah, let's get straight into how the build works, okay? So, we're using Shaper's Legacy of the Rose to charge up our Shaper Slam. We're only using this for bosses, uber bosses. You can actually one-tap normal pinnacle bosses like Shaper, Elder, Exarch, Eater of Worlds, and stuff like that. And for the Uber versions, with my current investment, I take about 25 to 35% of their HP in one hit with Shaper's Memory. So it does a lot of damage considering everything. Being able to like chunk the boss for 25 to 35, maybe on 40% HP with one hit, it's actually pretty fun. The main things you want on this staff is you want as high as possible physical damage. You do not care about the cast speed, and you want as many levels of spell skills as possible to help you for clearing an additional single target damage, because we're going to be stacking a lot of damage on this one. Okay, so that's how the staff works. You spend energy shield, you summon Shaper, Shaper does damage. Alright, but you can't do maps just with that, because you need something else to complement it. So in my chess piece, I'm running a cast wall channeling Wave of Conviction of Trarthus setup with Blade Vortex of the Scythe, which is they both deal significant amounts of damage thanks to the way we're stacking damage. With Power Charge on crit, increase crit, and Cyclone to cast it. So you see that's the Wave of Conviction going back and forth. And we also got the Blade Vortex of the Scythe. So these are helping me clear maps and additional single target damage on bosses. I am using the Admiral because it has this line over there. The last line. Elemental damage you deal with hits is resisted by the lowest elemental resistance instead. Now, my Wave of Conviction does Fire, Cold, and Lightning. As you can see, the Lightning part is the lowest damage type. Now, why is this important? Because we are using the Doriani Merc, obviously. Promise is probably the last build I'm going to do with the Doriani Merc. We're using the Doriani Merc, so our enemies have minus 200% lightning resistance. The Admiral comes in, and basically all my damage that is lightning included treats the enemy as it having minus 200 res. So all my fire damage is getting resisted by like minus 200% fire damage. All my cold damage is getting resisted by minus 200% cold resistance, and lightning by minus 200% lightning resistance. You get the idea. If I take this off, I literally lose like 75% of my damage, because the conversion is favorable to all elements, right? And we're converting a lot of the cold, very few the lightning, and a little bit of fire. Now, how do we get this conversion? We get the conversion from gloves. As you can see, I have 35 of Fizz converted to lightning and my implicits. I got another 34 converted to cold. I'm using Herald of Ash, which gives you your physical as extra fire. and I am using a Watcher's Eye. What is it? That converts more physical to cold. So I'm basically converting 100% of my physical damage to cold, lightning, and fire. So that's why the Admiral is the key piece in this setup. So to recap, we are stacking a lot of physical damage. We are converting it to elemental damage. We are using the Admiral to treat all elemental hits to be treated as the lowest resistance instead, which means everything of my Wave of Conviction, all the elements are getting treated like they're minus 200% res, which is massive, okay? And that's the main gist of it, okay? So let's go over the gear piece by piece. Legacy of the Rose. Like I said, you want high fizz, high spell level to spells, preferably +5. You don't care about the cast speed in this particular setup because we are using Cyclone to cast everything. I haven't had anything linked in here because I'm using this Rune Graft. 10% increased damage for each unlinked socket in equipped two-handed weapon. So I got 6 unlinked sockets. That is 60% increased damage. Okay. So the supports here benefit Shaper Slam. Okay, so I'm using Awaken melee physical damage, Pulverize, elemental damage for attack skills, elemental focus, increased critical damage, and conk effect. Okay, so that's what I'm using for this. As you can see, it has a little bit of a wind up time, but it hits like hell. You only want to use this on like pinnacle bosses. In my helmet, I'm using my auras: Hatred, Herald of Purity, Herald of Ash, and Righteous Fire for damage. I can sustain Righteous Fire pretty easily, no problem there. We're gonna get there on how we sustain by stacking a lot of life regeneration. On my helmet, I got life, armor, energy shield, chaos res, int, because we are an Inquisitor, int and strength give us crit, and life regeneration rate. On my gloves, same thing, life regen, percent life regen, chaos res, fizz conversion, life, and armor and energy shield, and also on nerve. On my boots, movement speed, life regen, percent life regen, chaos res. On my rings, I am using a dusk ring, which on the left ring so reduces skill effect duration. So which means that combined with my cast one channeling and blade vortex, it speeds up the damage of Wave of Conviction and blade vortex. So I really do recommend this. If I take this off, if I take it now, the build won't work because I need the dex. I mean, need the attributes, but it will feel a lot worse without it. Basically, trust me, bro. On my other ring, I am using Dex, all attributes, damage recouped as life, energy shield, and increased damage. Ideally, you would want to have like a probably frenzy charge, minimum frenzy, or something like that. Talked about the boots, gloves, weapon, helmet, chest piece, rings. Oh yeah, the amulet, Yoke of Suffering. Enemies take 10% increased damage for each type of ailment you have inflicted on them. So I can inflict chill, I can inflict shock, I can inflict ignite. So they're taking 30% increased damage, which is good. Plus a lot of resist, your elemental damage can shock, which is always good, and stuff like that. Using the Mage Blood, strictly for defensive purposes. I'm using a Granite Topaz Flask with Avoid Being Shocked, so combined with Storm Shout, I am element immune. I'm using a Ruby Flask, chance to avoid being stunned because nothing is worse than getting stunned while channeling Cyclone. Regen Flask with for Sapphire, movement speed, and I have 3 different flasks here. Orias End, strictly for mapping. Progenesis for like T17s, like Giga Juiced Abyss farming, and Bottle Faith for Ubers. So these are the situational flasks, depending on which type you want to play, which game mode you want to farm. All right, So, going over the gems again, Awaken Melee Fizz, Pulverize, Elemental Damage for attacks, Awaken Melee Focus, Increase Critical Damage, and Conk Effect for Shaper Slam. Auras in here, Cyclone, Wave of Conviction of Trarthus, Blade Vortex of the Sight, Power Charge on Crit, Critical Damage Support, and Castwell Channeling. Over here I got Mark on Hit, Assassin's Mark, Frostblink, and Vitality. Blood and Sand, Steel Skin, Elemental Weakness, and Automation. Now, pay close attention. I'm using Elemental Weakness only for... Okay, so I'm using Elemental Weakness only for Balance of Terror. 39% of physical as a random element if you cast Elemental Weakness in the past 10 seconds. Now, we don't care about actually cursing the enemy with Elemental Weakness, because he already has 200% resistances across the board. I only care about this because it gives me additional fizz as a random element. So the only curse I have on my enemies is Assassin's Mark. And then this I just cast before they spawn or whenever they spawn, and then I just cyclone them and they apply Assassin's Mark, and Assassin's Mark removes the elemental weakness. That's why I have additional curse in the PoB config. Strictly, that is the only reason I use elemental weakness. Alright, so those are the gems, flasks, and gear. Let's go into the skill tree. So, like I said, we are an Inquisitor. The main thing is Instruments of Virtue. 10% more attack damage for each non-instant spell you cast, up to a maximum of 30%. But the main thing is you want Battle Mage. Gain added spell damage equal to the damage of your main-handed weapon. So we're getting a lot of flat physical damage added to our spells, which again we're converting and all that good stuff. So that's why you want Battle Mage. Then we're using Righteous Providence to get ourselves crit capped for spells and hits, because this is just too good. Consecrated Ground and Consecrated Ground lingers, which is very cool, very high quality of life for that. And then on to the skill tree. I'm using also Mind Over Matter because of EB. I have 1700 energy shields, so it just makes sense to use it. I'm using a Unnatural Instinct over here to get all the benefits here. You can pause the video and check all the benefits you get just from having this over here. The main thing is 100% increased physical damage thanks to this. Light of Meaning. Light of Meaning passive skills in radius also grant 30% increased physical damage. Now, because we have Unnatural Instinct, allocated small passive skills in the range grant nothing, grants all bonuses of unallocated small passives. So all of these small passives, actually, because it overlaps with Light of Meaning. Okay, so my mic unplugged for a second, sorry about that. So like I was saying, because of Unnatural Instinct being over here, and all of these give me physical damage, because they overlap. Okay, cool. Over here I have my Balance of Terror, again, like I said, just for a random element, while if you cast Elemental Weakness recently. A Watcher's Eye to convert and give me crit while I have Hatred activated. I have a Storm Shout for Element Immunity. I have a Large Cluster Drill with Battle Hardened Force Multiplier and Iron Breaker. Iron Breaker, ignore Fizz damage resistance, 30% increased Fizz. Battle Hardened, 35% increased physical damage. Also, Evasion Armor is pretty good. 5% chance to deal double damage with increased Fizz. Magnifier, Pressure Points, and Forbidden Flesh and Flame, which allocates Bastion. Now, Bastion, as you can see here, if you cast an attack recently, you and nearby allies have 25% chance to block attack. If you cast a spell recently, you get 25 spell block. So this is really good for survivability because, as you can see, I have 42 chance to block attack, 42 chance percent to block spell. If I start cycloning, I got 67. If I cast Ellie Weakness, I got 72. So I'm very high chance to block with this setup. All right, same here for this one. Magnifier pressure points, Forbidden Flame. I am taking some masteries here. 30% increased defenses while wielding a staff. +1 chance to block spell damage per 5% chance to block attack damage, which is really cool. Rune graph with 10% increased damage for each unlinked socket in equipped two-handed weapon. Recover 2% of life and energy shield when you block spell or attack damage. Really, really good. This keeps you alive during mapping and stuff like that. Really, really good mastery over there. And buffs on you expire 30% slower and debuffs 30% faster. Now I have this timeless jewel over here, and the main thing that I want from it is double damage. So I got 5% chance to deal double damage, armor, double damage, double damage. So I get 20% chance to deal double damage just from this timeless jewel, plus the additional benefits of having like armor. The other nodes really don't matter. 20% armor, totem placement speed, obviously nobody cares. Max fortification doesn't matter. Double damage is all that matters, and plus you get a lot of strength, so more crit. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you got any questions, let me know. Yeah, if you find the build interesting, try it out, see where it goes. But yeah, that will be it for me for this one. I hope you guys had fun watching this video and the showcase of the build. And until next time, take care and stay safe.